and recording. Yes. And on the way of creating the algorithm, we talk about there are two specific ways of illustrating an algorithm using a graphical presentation and the textual representation. So for graphical representation, we talk about the flow charts and we talk about the symbols, and you are familiar with that, right? And then we talk about how a problem is going to be matched or going to illustrate with the with using of sequence which are happening, the instructions which are happening one after the other. Then we talk about how these conditions can be managed or can be handled with the help of condition box or the condition symbol, which is the diamond shape. And we talk about that this condition can be arised in two different ways, like it can be arise as a selection and it can be arise as a iteration. So we discuss about how to handle a selection and how to identify the selection. Then we discuss about how to identify an iteration and how we are going to manage that particular iteration, right? So at the middle of the iteration, or like after doing 3 to 4 examples using an iteration, we just went to the grade 10 third term test, right? So we are back in programming now, right? So I think I have discussed the question number 9, but not the 10th and not the 11th with you people. To recap this, I'll go through the question number 10 and question number 11. So you will remember how it happens, right? So then let's do one another question regarding the flowchart. Then we'll switch to the pseudocodes, right? So which is the other method that an algorithm is going to represent, right? Okay. So yeah, let me take the copy of the 10th question. So I hope you can hear me clearly and see my screen clearly. So if it is lagging or doing any hard times with your part, so just let me know. All right.
They are discussing this again, right?
Didn't get you, Minul.
They are discussing this question again.
Yeah. So like Minul, just
Okay.
did we discuss this at the in the class? Like I haven't draw anything on the whiteboard. That's why I'm
No, sir.
discussing this. So it's better. So Anita product matak karagana puluang hamon product matak vela. So we can go further, right? Yeah, so the question is draw a flow chart to calculate and display the total of user given values one at a time. User input should stop whenever he gave 0. Whenever he give, it's better whenever he give or whenever he provides 0 as the input, right? So there will be a program which accepts the numbers, right? So that can be positives or negatives. It's going to have the total. It's going to calculate the total during the process. So then it's going to stop. The program is going to stop once the user provides 0, and it will stop after displaying the total, right? So this is how it happens. So to do anything, we have to start the algorithm. So we will be starting it. And then, of course, since it is, since the user should be given the value to the program, we should, right. People, I'm sorry, I got a power failure at my side. So let me share the screen again. So to do anything, we have to start. So after that, I'm going to flow as the details are taken from the question, so I may change the things in between, right? And again, so let's go. So we started. So we have to have a value or a number from the user. So I can say enter a number, right? So once I collect the number, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check whether it is a 0 or not, because the condition with the program is when the user provide us the 0. If user provide us the 0, we are going to stop the program. Otherwise, we are going to continue. So it is a good time to check whether the given number is a 0 or not. So I can ask the question like this: is number equals 0? So that's going to be my question. So as you remember, we should ask the question which can be answered in yes or no. So if it is yes, program should go to the ending part, and if it is no, then you should add the things or you should consider this number to get added with your total. So in this point, we have to use this particular hint which is provided by me. This is how we are going to calculate the total. Like we discussed in programming, there are certain ways of writing the calculation or an increment, right? So we say if it is not a 0, then make total, add that particular number to the total, and assign that total to the total variable again. So to perform this, initially we need a value for total. Now, as an example, if the user gives 10 over here, so 10 will be checked from here. It is not equals to 0. So you are going to add 10 to what? That is going to be a problem. Right? So that means total should have a value initially. So that means before we use this, there should be a place where it initiate. This is the value for the total, right? So like initiation of some variables happen right at the beginning of the program, right? Initiate but it is better you initiate it just after starting it, right? It's the good practice of the programming. So with that reason, I'm going to change my flow from here. First, I'll initiate total as 0 because I don't have anything as the total when it is big in the beginning. So then after, I'm going to connect with having a number. So now I got 0 over here. So I can add 0 with the number which is entered by the user. So that gives the new total as 10, right? So that is what is happening. So this particular thing is going to act as a process, right? So the numbers which I wrote below that is just for your identification. I'm going to clear it out when you are completing the things, or if you're going to write this down, it's going to be a problem if it is there. Right, so we get a number, we check it whether it is 0 or not. If it is not a 0, we are going to add it to the total and have the total and assign it to the total again, right? So then what we have to do is we are going to ask for another number, right? So that means you have to connect your flow to this particular point, because if you connect this before the total, each and every iteration, total will become 0. If you just connect this right over here, so your enter a number part will be missed. So there is no any place to take a new number from the user. All right, so now when the total is calculated on this particular manner, in case if a user provides a 0, that means this condition will become yes. So it will be flow on this particular way. So the question says if the user has provided a 0, you should display the total so far that you have calculated, then you should end. So here it's going to be display total and then it will end. Right, so that is the way that an iteration is going to handle. And the places where we where we can change this thing, right? You can change your condition or the question like this. We can ask the question like, is number not equal is going to display like this, not equal 0, or you can just write it by your words, is number not equal to a 0. So then the flow in will differ. For this part, it will be a no. And for the downwards, it is going to be an yes, right? That is the place where you can change your condition and change the structure of the flow chart. This pattern is also correct. Yes, no maru වෙන එක විතරයි එතන වෙන්නේ. Question එකක් මාරු වෙනවා. So otherwise you can go on this particular way. Right, people, did you got the idea? Like, have you remember what we are doing in the previous time, like 3-4 weeks back? Just confirm, or if you got any question, you can ask. Right, great. So if there is anyone who have not complete this question, so it's the time for you to complete it. I'll give you like 2 to 3 minutes for you to get it clear, right? And can I know, is there anyone who is writing this particular example, or like fill in this particular example just now? Or else I can move to the next question. Is there any? And do we have any newcomers today? No one seems to be, neither. Right, so I think everyone has got this correctly, and so I'm going to move to the next question, the question number 11. Right. Okay. So moving to the question number 11, and it says, draw a flow chart to calculate the total of 5 numbers given by the user one at a time. Vihasna, yes. Okay, Dua. Vihasna, have you go through the recordings that we have done previously? Dua, it is in my website. I don't really remember. Yes. Yes, I don't really remember whether I have give you the information about the previous recording, Dua. So like, were you like, did I inform you about the recordings, Dua, or like?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay. So we are at the middle of the first lesson, so you may stay here today because we are starting the questions regarding the pseudocode after a little minute, right? So මේ ටික සමහර විට දුවට පොඩ්ඩක් තේරෙන එකක් නෑ. දුව කලින් කළා නෑ නේද programming පැත්ත?
No, sir.
No, right, okay. So අද චුට්ටක් අපිත් එක්ක ඉන්න පොඩි වෙලාවක් ඒක සමහර විට දුවට මේ මුල් ටික පොඩ්ඩක් තේරෙන එකක් නැති වෙයි. But I think දැන් මේ මම කතා කරපු දේවල් ටිකක් තේරුණාද? Somewhat,
Oh, sir.
it can be somewhat okay. It maybe it won't, like you won't get in any idea, right? ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Right, you just stay and see. I'll show you the way to refer the previous recording, right? Okay, so the 11th question, draw a flow chart to calculate total of 5 numbers given by the user one at a time. So it's something very similar, but there is a one different because we have to just excuse me. Right. Very sorry, but it's calling in a false to answer. Just excuse me, right? Right. So this one is a little bit different from the previous one. So it says draw a flow chart to calculate total of 5 numbers given by the user one at a time. So something similar, but there is a difference. So let's start it as previously. So we start it. And as usual, we are going to ask for a number, right? So enter a number. So it's going to be an input or an output. Then what we are going to do is we need to calculate the total. So like previously, we use total equals total plus number. So the same thing is going to happen. But the problem is now until when we are going to add these things. The previous question, so our condition was stop it when the user provides a 0. Now in this particular question, the condition to stop is this 5 numbers thing, like the number of numbers or the count of the numbers. So we have to check before we do the addition, before we calculate the thing, we have to check whether the count of the numbers are equals to 5 or not. So how we are going to count the numbers? So to count the number, counting the numbers means inside a memory there should be a separate variable. නේද? අපි හිතින් count කරනකොට අපි හිතින් මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ ගාන කීයද කියලා. 1 2 3 4 5 කියලා මතක තියාගන්න. So when it comes to the computing, there should be a particular variable to remember how many numbers are given. Right? So the first thing that we are going to do is we have to initiate a value for that count. Okay, the count එක තමයි අපි check කරන්නේ. So once we given a number, the question that we ask is count what? We can use equals 5 or else we can use less than or equals 5. Right? So here it says total 5 numbers are given. So in this case, we can use equals 5 or less than or equals 5, right? So if we choose whether count is equals 5 as the question, so there is no variable or anything called count. Count කියලා කෙනෙක් නෑ මේ වෙනකොට අපි ගාව. But you are given a number. මෙතනින් තමයි පළවෙනි number එක දෙන්නේ. දැන් එක number එකක් දීලා ඊට පස්සේ තමයි අපි check කරන්නේ. ඒතර මේ වෙනකොට අපේ count එක 1යි. නේද? Right. So I have told you if this type of variables are there, I can අපි variable එකක් use කරන්න යනවා නම් එකපාරට that should be initiated. Right? කලින් කියලා තියෙනුනේ පටන් ගන්නකොට count එක කීයද කියලා. So at the very beginning, we have to say count is equals to 0. As well as we are going to have the total of the given numbers. So like in the previous example, so we should initiate totals as 0 as well. So then we can move. So we take the number and we are asking the question, is count equals to 5? One second here. Yeah. So then if it is yes, that is the way to stop, that is the time to stop, right? And if it is no, we are going to continue. That means we don't have count yet. We don't have I'm sorry, the program is not being provided with 5 numbers. So we enter a number, we check the count of the numbers are equals to 5. So it is, if it is not, then we are going to do, so we have to say, since a one number is given, count should be increased by 1 and it is going to be equals to the count again. This is how we are going to use an increment. එකින් එක වැඩි වෙනකොට මෙහෙම ලියන්නේ. දෙකින් දෙකට වැඩි වෙනවා නම් so count equals count plus 2. තුනෙන් තුනට වැඩි වෙනවා නම් count equals count plus 3. Right? අඩු වෙනවා නම් එකින් එකට count equals count minus 1. Right? That is how we are going to handle a counter, an increment counter and a decrement counter. So here we are getting an increase in count. Right? So count equals count plus 1 should be there since a number is given, as well as there is another process to calculate the total. So we know what's the equation for that now. Total equals total plus number. So we are going to calculate the total of the numbers. So the requirement of us are done. We got the number, we count the number, and we add that number to the total. Then we are going to ask for the next number. And when you are using this kind of an iteration, it's better you check whether your iteration works properly, right? That means checking this number. So we can check it like this. So when we are given the first number, the total, the count is 1 right over here. එතන පළවෙනි number එක දෙනකොට තමයි මෙයා එක බවට පත් වෙන්නේ. So මෙතනින් දෙවෙනි number එක දුන්නම තමයි this is going to be second, right? මෙතනට තුන්වෙනි එක්කෙනා දුන්නම තමයි is count as 3 numbers. මෙතනට හතරවෙනි එක්කෙනා දුන්නම තමයි this is going to become 4. And
So can we interchange the count and the total?
Didn't get you, Minul.
So can we interchange the count equals count plus, like 2 down, and then total equals total plus 1?
Like shifting the places, like total comes to
Yeah,
up and count comes to down. Yeah, we can,
Yeah.
no problem. මට මෙතන ඔයගලන්ට පෙන්නන්න උනේ මෙතන පස්වෙනි number එක දුන්නම මෙතනින් count එක check කරනවානේ is count equals 5 කියලා. Still it is not equals to 5. count එක මේ මොහොතේ 4යි. පස්වෙනි number එක දෙනකොටත් 4යි. මොකද 5 දීලා මෙතන pass කළා මෙතනට ආවම තමයි 5 වෙන්නේ. So that flows. It flows on this direction. Each and every position. එක දුන්නමත් count එක බිඳුවයි පටන් ගන්නකොට so it flows. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතනින් එක වෙනවා count. Then දෙවෙනි එක දෙනකොට count එක 1යි. So count is not equals to 5. It flows. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතනින් 2 වෙනවා. So තුන්වෙනි number එක දෙනකොට count එක 2යි. So it is not equals to 5. So it becomes 3. හතරවෙනි number එක දෙනකොට count එක 3යි. So it flows. This is become 4. පස්වෙනි number එක දෙනකොට count එක 4යි. So it flows and then it will become 5. So that means all 5 numbers will get added with this particular equation. Then you are asked to give a 6th number. හයවෙනි number එකක් ඉල්ලනවා මෙතනින්. Right? ඒක program wise ටිකක් inefficient තැනක්. Program wise. Right? Program wise එතන inefficient තැනක්. Then after count will be checked. So count is 5. So එතනින් පහලට යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වුණාට screen එකේ user ගෙන් 6 සැරයක් number එකක් දාන්න කියලා ඉල්ලලා තියෙනවා. Right? So any suggestions to avoid that particular thing? අපිට ඒ 6 වෙනි number එකක් ඉල්ලන එක නතර කරගන්න ක්‍රමයක් තියෙනවද? Oh,
Count less than or equal to 5.
less than or equal 5 will not avoid that, neda Minul. Because less than or equal means still equal කියන තැනට වෙනකන් එනවනේ. මට ඕනේ 5 දීලා පස්වෙනි එක එකතු වුණායින් පස්සේ නතර කරන්න. මෙතනින් පස්සේ පස්වෙනි number එක මෙතනට එකතු වුණායින් පස්සේ 6 වෙනි number එක ඉල්ලන්න නැතුව තියන්න. think. මෙතනට එනකොට පස්වෙනි number එක එකතු වෙලා ඉවර වෙනවා පස්වෙනි වටේදී. කියන්නේ මෙතනින් පස්වෙනි number එක දෙනවා. මෙයා 5යි කියලා අප්ඩේට් කරනවා. then මෙතනින් පස්වෙනි number එක එකතු වෙලා ඉවර කරනවා. Then how we are going to stop it without moving to the enter number part? Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Boys, girls? Yes. Okay. How about putting the condition right over here? Saran, I think that you are trying to tell what I am going to tell. Oh, condition එක අපිට දාන්න පුළුවන් නේද මෙතන? Right? Condition එක මෙතන දැම්මොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? We get a number, counter will be increased, number will be added, then check whether the counter is equals to 5 or not. So පස්වෙනි number එක දුන්නම count එක 5 වෙනවා. Then after total එකටත් fifth number will be get added. Then it will ask the question, is count equals to 5? Then if it is yes, so we can exit. If it is no, we can continue. Right?
But can we put an increment before the condition?
Before the condition means?
Not count equals count plus 1 and tot equals tot plus n.
Yes.
Can we like put it before the condition?
Yeah.
So always after the condition?
Yeah, that's what I am proposing, Menu. Then api metana condition එක දානවා කියන්නේ we are keeping these two lines before the condition. Count equals count plus 1 and total equals total plus number is there before the condition.
Yes.
Right? එතනට આવොත් අපිට හරියටම 6 වෙනි number එකක් ඉල්ලන්නේ නැතුව හරියටම numbers පහක් අරගෙන numbers පහ count කරලා numbers පහ එකතු කරලා so we can exit. Right? So I will quickly draw the most efficient.
Yeah, but if you do it this way, that doesn't act.
Yeah, it won't get add manual. But the problem is you will be asked a sixth number. That's the problem. 6 වෙනි number එකක් ඉල්ලනවා. මොකද පහ වෙන්නේ මෙතන ඊට පස්සේ මේ flow එක ගිහිල්ලානේ මගේ දැන් රතු පාටෙන් ඇඳලා තියෙන flow එක ගත්තොත් පහ වෙලා නම් පස්වෙනි number එකත් add කරගෙන then it asks for another number, then it checks the condition, then only it will exit. එතන තමයි program එක inefficient උනේ. Right? And people don't worry, you will be not getting to draw the flow charts, right? Isara, what kind of a command that you are proposing? Yes, Isara?
පහෙන් නවත්තන්න කියලා කිව්වේ.
පහෙන් නවත්තන්න කියන එක කොහොමද දෙන්නේ පුතේ? propose කියන්නේ condition එක එහෙමනම් අපි කියන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද මොන විදිහටද ඒක ලියන්නේ කියන එක. අපිට කියා ගන්න විදිහක් නැති එක තමයි එතන ප්‍රශ්නේ. කියන්නේ we can use the comparative operators here. So අපි මේක less than 5 කියලා දැම්මොත් පස්වෙනි එක්කෙනා එන්න කලින් නතර වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right?
If we put less than 6,
still the sixth number is being asked නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අපේ ගැටලුව උනේ මෙන්න මේ enter number කියන එක 6 වෙනි වතාවටත් වැඩ කරන එක. නැතුව ඇල්ගොරිතම් එකේ වැරද්දක් නෙවෙයි. ඇල්ගොරිතම් එක පහයි එකතු කරන්නේ. හැබැයි මේ මම ලියලා තියෙන විදිහට 6 වෙනි එක්කෙනා ඉල්ලලා නතර වෙනවා. 6 වෙනි එක්කෙනා ඉල්ලනවා ඊට පස්සේ කන්ඩිෂන් එක වැරදි කියලා තේරෙනවා. එතකොට මේ පැත්තෙන් යනවා. So අපේ උත්තරේ හරි. The total what we are getting is correct. But user ට පොඩි ගැටලුවක් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඇයි 6 වෙනි number එකක් ඉල්ලුවේ කියලා. user හිතන්න පුළුවන් numbers 6ක එකතුවයි මට මේ දෙන්නේ කියලා. Right? ඕගලන්ට ඔය තරම් දුරට හිතන්නේ නැහැ, not even in A levels, right? A level නම් හිතන්න තියෙනවා. A level වල පොඩ්ඩක් ඕක ගැන හිතන්න තියෙනවා. right? But not in your case, right? Now, make a idea right? So I'll draw the correct one quickly so you can do the amendments, right? So I start, then I'll initiate, count equals 0, total equals 0. Then I'm asking for a number. Yeah, people, sorry, I was disconnected again. The product very disturbance, right?
So
So
do they deduct marks if you like?
no. The thing is, as I told you, අපිට මේක අඳින්න ඉන්නේ නෑ. අඳින්න යනවා සූඩෝ කෝඩ් එක දීලා ඒක දිහා බලාගෙන අඳින්න ඉන්නේ. එතකොට ඒක ඒ විදිහට යනදම ගැටලුවක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. They are not give us the questions like I am giving you. Question එක දීලා අඳින්න කියලා කියන්නේ නෑ. මෙච්චර කාලයකට exam history එකේ එහෙම question එකක් ඇවිල්ලා නෑ. They just either they are giving the flow chart and asking us to complete the blanks, right? Or else you will be given the flow chart, then asked to write the pseudocode, or you will be given the pseudocode, then asked to write the asked to draw the flow chart.
That means they have already given the structure.
Yeah. මොකද O level වල යන්න තියෙන්නේ ඒ තැනට වෙනකම් විතරයි. Right, so what I am doing is taking you beyond the limits, so you will be able to do those things in a very easy manner, right? මොකද ගොඩාක් කට්ටිය programming question එක අත ගහන්නේ නැහැ because they think it is hard. It is not hard, right? Okay, then what we were suggesting is having the condition just after this, is count equals 5. If it is no, we are going to connect over here. If it is yes, we are going to display the total. Then we are going to end. Right, so people who have not completed this yet, so it's time for you to complete the 11th question. Right, I'll give you a minute or two to complete yours, and we are going to do another iteration, and then we are going to move to the pseudocodes. Okay, are we done? People confirm?
Sir, give me a minute.
Okay, sure, no problem. Yeah, Dulagi, like you are asking how the counter is increasing and the way of stopping. Yeah, Dua මට තව චුට්ටක් clear කරගන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. Now, are you asking about how this thing is determined and how the counter determines when to stop? ඒකද දුව අහන්නේ? All right, okay. Right, I'll do a dry run and show it to you. Right, hari. ලියා ගන්න කට්ටිය අතරතුරේ පොඩ්ඩක් මේක බලා ගන්න. මම මේක hand trace කරලා පෙන්නනම් කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියලා. So first it is getting started. So then we are going to have two variables, which is count and total. So count, initially count is 0, total is 0. So we are entering a number. Let's say we are going to enter 10. So count equals count plus 1. This will happen. So that means, I'm sorry, not the count that I'm going to use. And we need the number variable as well. So as the number, we are going to give 10. Then count is going to increase. So initially count is 0, total is 0 from this point. Then they are asking for a number. So we are giving 10. So then this will happen, count equals count plus 1. So that means 0 will become 1. Then this happens, total equals total plus number. So total is 0, number is 10. So total will become 10, 0 plus 10, it is 10. Then the question will be asked, count is equals to 5. So count is not equals to 5 because it is 1 for the moment. So it continues in the no path, then asks for another number. So here comes the number, I'm giving 20. So it says increase counter by 1, counter equals counter plus 1. So 1 will become 2. Right, so then total equals total plus number will happen. So total, the current total is 10, number is 20. So 10 plus 20, 30 will be given to the total. So then again, the condition is checked whether count is equals to 5. So it is not, it is 2, right? So then it goes and asks for another number. So we are giving 30. Let's assume we are going to give 30 as a third number. So again, counter will be increased. So 2 will become 3 and total will be added with the number that we have provided. So 30 plus 30, it will become 60. And then again, the condition is checked whether the counter is equals to 5. Still it is not. So going in the no path and asks for a number again. So I'm giving 40 and counter increased by 1 right over here. So 3 will become 4. And then the fourth number will be added to the total, 60 plus 40. So it will become 100. And then condition is checked again. So it will check whether the count is equals to 5. Still not, count is 4. So then it falls on the no path, then enters or asks for the another number. So I'm giving 50 over here. So all these are cancelled. So 50, the fifth number, the 50. So then count increased by 1. Now count is becoming 5. So that means I have taken 5 numbers, right? As you can see, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 is the fifth number. So from here, count will become 5. Then total will be added with that number. So 100 plus 50. So it will become 150, the total, and counter will check now. Now it is asking, is count equals 5? Yes, now counter is equals to 5. So it exits and display the total. So the displaying total is this 150, which is the correct total. Total. So it is the correct total. So then it will end. Yeah, Dulagi, is it clear though? Yeah, 7, that doesn't matter. අපි total count එක දැන් මම එතන count එක මුලින් දාලා තියෙන්නේ number එක ගත්ත ගමන් අපි 1යි කියලා ගණන් කරගන්න ඕනේ කියන idea එකත් එක්ක. It doesn't matter if these two things are being shifted. මේ toggle කරාට. තියෙන තැන් දෙක මාරුනාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. No problem. Right, Dulagi, was it clear, Dua? Is Dulagi in the room? Oh my God, I think Dulagi is, no, Dulagi is there. Dulagi is there. Right, Dua. Right, okay. So people, I think you are done with writing. I think we start the pseudocode straight away. Then so we don't need to go for another one. So we had done 11 questions. Yes. So let's go for the pseudocodes. Right. So before I move into that, I'm going to go with your textbook. So we talk about the problem solving algorithms, and we talk about these sequence selection and iteration or the repetitions. Right now we know about those things, and here they have given some of the examples for the sequence selection and iteration, and the flow chart is been introduced, and then it's the pseudocodes. Now pseudo කියන එකේ අර්ථය තමයි not genuine කියන එක. Like not genuine කියලා කියන්නේ එක it's not genuine. Pseudo means නිකන් අපි එකට කියන්නේ බොරු fake වගේ idea එක. Right? So fake means like it cannot be executed. It is just a code which is written in the text format. අපි ඒක විස්තර කරලා ලියලා තියෙනවා. So the only difference that we are going to see in these pseudocodes, when we are totally writing an algorithm using the text base, using the texts, and there are specific structures to maintain the selection and the iterations. So start will be indicated as begin, end is always indicated as end as usual. So like we use inside the input symbol, saying enter number, input number, obtain number, the very same thing is going to be used here. So for the inputs, you can use input, read, get kind of words. And for the outputs, we can use output, display, show, those kind of words. Like it's the very same thing that we use inside the flow chart. Instead of using the graphical representation, or like instead of using the shapes, we are just going to write it by purely text. And the major difference comes after with these structures. For the selections, we are given a structure which is called if then else, right? And for the iteration, they have given us 3 separate structures, which is for do, while, and repeat until. There are differences, and there are places where we can use these iteration structures. So we are going to learn that through these examples that we have done. Then ඕගොල්ලෝ flow chart අඳිනකොට කරපු examples 11ම තමයි, questions 11ම තමයි අපි pseudocodes වලට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. So the same thing you are going to write. So it's going to be very කියන්නේ අපිට ඉක්මනට ඒක ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද අපිට flow chart එක අපිත් එක්ක relate වෙලා තියෙන නිසා. Right? Okay. So I'm go to the whiteboard and I'm go to the very top of your questions. So I'm going to do the very first example. This is our very first example. Draw a flow chart to display first name and last name together of the user by requesting those names separately. Right? So how we are going to write this as a pseudocode?
It's a toothpaste.
It's a toothpaste. Yes, my dear, it's a toothpaste. Good on me. Right. So it's very easy, people. Start is becoming begin.
So should we write for the same flow chart?
Yes, so like if you can write the same pseudocode in the example, if you got the space, just write it over there, or else you can put the flowchart number and write the relevant pseudocode, right? So it's better you
That's like a small space is enough, right?
yeah, small space is enough for these kind of things. When the things are getting bigger, like iterations and you'll manage that, right? You have the freedom to write the things. එකමදේ එතන note කරගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ කරගන්න ඕනේ. This is the pseudocode regarding this particular question කියලා. නැත්නම් පස්සේ බලනකොට ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙයි. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ, නිකන් pseudocode එකක් විතරක් ලියලා කියලා, right? Okay, so begin is there, then very easily මම මේ කරන දේ පොඩ්ඩක් practice එකක් කරගන්න. This is not a must. මම දැන් begin වලට පස්සේ පොඩ්ඩක් indent කරනවා. පොඩි tab space එකක් තියෙනවා ඊළඟ ටික ලියනකොට. මොකද begin and end එක කෙලින් මට තියාගන්න ඕන නිසා. It's just a good practice of doing it, right? It's not a rule, right? So මම මෙතනින් ලියනවා it's the same thing. Input first name. So the very same thing that we have written in the input box. Then the next one, input last name, then display first name and last name. මේක එක පේලියට ලියන්න පුළුවන් නම් හොඳයි. Together, then end. Simple as that. මට ඕන වුණා තිබේ මේ දෙන්න එකම line එකේ maintain කරන්න. So others පොඩක් අපි tab කරලා tab space එකක් තියලා then yeah, Saran, there is no simple capital problems here, right? So you just use the simple words, simple letters, capital letters as you want, right? කියන අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ලියන විදිහට ලියුවම හරි. ඔයාලට ඕන නම් capital word එකකින් පටන් අරගෙන letter එකකින් පටන් අරන් ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Or else you just write it down. Right? Okay. So අපිත් එක්ක අද අලුතෙන් එකතු වෙලා ඉන්න දුවට මම example එක totally පේන්න තියෙනවා. දුවට flow chart එක ඇඳගෙන ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ අනිත් questions ටික මම පෙන්නන්නම්. So others you have to write the pseudocode, right? Then you are going to continue with the examples that we have done, right? So you have the questions. So you can continue the questions until when? Yeah, until this particular point. අපි average එක හොයලා display කරේ. එතනට වෙනකන් pseudo ටික ලියන්න. Right? So yeah. Vihasna, right? Vihasna, you can Vihasna, you are with us, right? Yes, I think. So Vihasna, you can copy the question and draw the flow chart. Then you can copy the pseudocode. And I'll show you the second one as well, though.
So until average means that until the third example.
Yes, until the average one. Now, once you're done with the first example, let me know. So I will move it to the second example.
Okay.
Isara, yes. Isara, මම මේ සූඩෝ කෝඩ් එක නිල් පාටින් ලියලා තියෙන begin end අතරමැද ඒක ලියන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පහලින් අපි කරපු සූඩෝ ෆ්ලෝ chart වල සූඩෝ කෝඩ්ස් ටික ලියන්න ඕනේ average කියන තැනට වෙනකම්.
Sir, can you move to the second question?
Yeah, sure. දෙයස්නා එතකොට දැන් මේක තනියෙන් ඇඳලා try to write the pseudocode, right? So this is the second one. දුම මෙතන curly braces දාලා අර display hello plus name කියලා ලියලා තියෙන ලියන්න පුළුවන් තව විදි, right?
Okay, sir.
Isara, okay. Isara, Putam, did you like join with us at the middle of the lesson? ඒ කියන්නේ පහුගිය දවස් දෙක තුනේද පුතාම සම්බන්ධ වුණේ?
Totally. Man සම්බන්ධනේ අර sir MCQ papers කරනවා sir.
Right, okay. So you don't have the previous question as well, නේද? හරි.
Yes,
කොච්චර
sir.
මිස් වුණාද අතන මේ pseudo code එකද ලියා ගන්න බැරුව නැත්නම් flow chart එකද?
Flow chart එක.
Flow chart එක කොච්චර දුරට ලිව්වද?
Chart එක
ඒ කියන්නේ question එක ලියාගත්ත chart එක පටන් ගත්තේ නෑ එහෙමද?
you are not here.
Yeah. Putam, like up to what point that you have written? Like, didn't you start the flow chart to draw, or are you at the middle of the flow chart?
At the start of the project.
Start of the flow chart. So, විහසදුව මම පොඩ්ඩක් උඩට කරනවා.
Okay, sir.
Right. හරි. ටක් ගාලා ලියා ගන්නකෝ ඉසර.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay. Saran, that's not going to be a problem. It is just to take your attention, Saran. There is no rule of writing things by capitals in the pseudocodes. Guaranteed, don't worry.
Sir,
Over
I
there.
wrote that. Thank you, sir.
Right, okay. So here comes the second, and try to write the pseudocode by yourself, right? Alut dennama. Saran, you can write the very same thing. ඔයා flow chart එකේ input box එක ඇතුලේ ලියලා තියෙන එක ඒ විදිහටම ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Vihansa and Isara, when you are done with the second question, let me know. I'll go for the third one.
Sir, I'm done with the second question.
Right, okay. Isara, how about you?
Done, sir.
Right. So I'm moving to the second one. You can write the pseudo for the second one and come to the this particular example. Doesn't matter, right? මං examples කියලා දාලා තියෙ එක තැන් වලට අනිත් තැන් වලට exercise කියලා දාලා තියෙ නැත්නම් Q අකුරක් දාලා තියෙ questions වලට, right? Right. So Vihasna and Isara, are you done with the second example, the writing of the second example, the drawing the flow chart thing? මම මෙතන පුතාලා මේ දෙවිදියකට ඇඳලා පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා මේ මේක එකම flow chart එක to show that you can draw it in two different ways. Two different means like these two inputs can be written on one particular input box. So ඒක තමයි එතන පෙන්නලා තියෙන්නේ. And using the mathematical equations, use of mathematical equations. So you can use either of the ways.
So I have another one to draw.
Right, okay. Go on, go on. And Vihasna and Isara, you may like stay for another 5 minutes after the session ends. I'll show you how to refer the previous recordings, right? So it's better you go through those and be there with the next session. Clear way, right? Yeah, Vihasna and Isara, done with this thing?
Done, sir.
Done.
Right, okay. Right, so I'm going to the previous question to write the pseudocode. You may go through whether you have got it correctly. So it is very easy, right? So that is why I'm not discussing anything. So I'm just writing it. So it's very easy. Begin will be there. And input name will be there. Then display. name followed by hello. Right, and just end. That's all. Right, so that is the way of the pseudocode of this particular flowchart. Right, I don't think you got any mistakes right over there. Then I'm writing the pseudocode for this particular thing as well. Right, so we can say begin and input positive number 1 and number 2. ඔයගලන්ට පොතේ එක line එකකට ලියන්න බැරිනොත් දෙවෙනි line එකට එන්න no problem. So then I'm going to say total equals number 1 plus number 2. Now in here we don't need to initiate the total. අර අපි අද අන්තිමට කරා වගේ total initiate කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ මෙතනදී. හේතුව තමයි like the addition of number 1 and number 2 is assigned into the total. So total is going to have a value anyway. Then when we say total equals total plus something, there should be an initial value for the total. Then display total. Then you can end. Simple as that. Right? Like if your flowchart just containing the sequences, the may topic, sequence the instructions which are happen one after the other. So it is just a sequence. It is very easy for you to convert the flowchart into the pseudocode, as well as if you are given a pseudocode, you can easily create the flowchart. You only need to recognize you only need to be very careful to put inputs and outputs inside a parallelogram and a processors inside the rectangle. That's all that you have to do. Hari, මෙතනට වෙනකන් clear the people? Confirm? Right, great. How about others? Right. Okay. Right. So I'm moving forward. Yeah, Isara and I don't remember the other one's name now. Yeah, you two just write down this thing. Oh, for some reason, I think I have not draw the flow chart clearly. Hari, මෙතන පුතේ flow chart එක clearly ඇඳිලා නැහැ. So මම හිතන්නේ මේක ඔයගලන්ගේ යාළුවන්ට කියලා මම ඇඳලා ගෙන්නගෙන mark කරපු එකක්. So you just write the question, then try to draw the flow chart by yourself, right? ඇඳලා මට WhatsApp message එකක් දාන්න මම බලලා කියන්නම් එතකොට ඇඳපු එක හරිද කියලා. Right? So this is the second exercise. So carry it on. Right, Saran, okay. So I'm writing the pseudocode at your left. Just see whether it is okay. So you should have begin. Then you have to say enter number 1, number 2, comma number 3. Then either you can say calculate, or you can just go for the thing. ඉස්සර පුතේ අහලා තියෙන එක මට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. Total equal 0 means
මෙතන total තියෙන හින්දා අර සර් flow chart එකේදී පටන් ගන්න ගානේ total equal 0 කියලා දැම්මේ.
ඔව් මෙතන දාන්න ඕනේ නෑ පුතේ. හේතුව දැන් ඒ කලින් වෙලාවේ total 0 කියලා දැම්මේ total එක යම් කිසි දෙයක් අපිට එකතු කරන්න වෙච්ච නිසා. එතකොට දැන් total ට number එකක් එකතු කරන්න ඕන වුණොත් total ට අගයක් තියෙන්න ඕනනේ. අපි අගයක් දන්නේ නැති වුණාම එකතු කරන්න බෑ. මෙතනදී අපි total එක හදන්නේ මේ enter කරන numbers තුන එකතු කරලා. ඒක නිසා අපි මුලදී total බිඳුවයි කියලා අමුතුවෙන් කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මොකද අපි කියන්නේ numbers තුන එකතු කරලා ඒක total ට assign කරගන්න කියලා. තේරුණාද?
ඔව් සර්.
එතකොට total 0 කියන එක අමුතුවෙන් කිය ඉන්න දෙයක් නෑ. මොකද total ට මොකද්ද එන්නේ කියන එක numbers තුන එකතු කරාම අපිට පේනවා. අතනදී කලින් අපි පාවිච්චි කරපු එකේ total ට number එක එකතු කරාම මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා හිතා ගන්න බෑ. මොකද අපි total කියන එක නා initially කීයද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. right? ඒ නිසා තමයි මෙතෙන්දී අපි total equal 0 පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැත්තේ. Right? So we are entering 3 numbers. Then we say, we can simply say total equals number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3. I'm writing it like this because there are some people who are writing the question yet. Right? Then I'm calculating the average. Average equals total divide by 3. Then I'm say display total. You can say display total and average, or you can use 2 display lines. Display average, and then you can use end.
So you also gave a flow chart for like taking 2 positive integers and displaying the total.
Take what did I? Regarding menu, like taking 2 positive numbers and adding and displaying the total.
Yes.
Yeah, it is this one which I have written right over here.
Okay.
Right. So this is going to be the flow, the pseudocode for the second exercise. Right, people, just confirm, is it okay so far? දැනට කරපු දේවල් වල ගැටලු තියෙනවද? You can ask if you got any questions.
So can we output like output total comma average?
No problem. Yes, you can write it. Output total and average. Okay. So people, we are done up to the second exercise. So the next week, starting how to deal with the selection. Right, so there you are going to find a new structure which we call the control structure, as if then else. Right, එතකොට ඒකේ එයාව පාවිච්චි කරන විදිහක් තියෙනවා. ඒ විදිහ කොහොමද පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියලා මම මෙතනින් කියලා දෙනවා. Right, so I'm going to stop the session from this point today, because if we're going to talk about the selection, it will take more time for us. So it's like almost 5 o'clock. Right, so thank you very much, people. So No problem, Dulagi. You can output total, then you can calculate average, then you can output average. No problem. Isara, right. I'll check for that, Puta, and I will reply. Right. So thank you very much, people. Have a nice weekend. I'm going to meet you on for the very same time. Yes, people. Hold on. Before you meet, before you leave, some are being leave. People, tapparakina. I need to know whether we can shift the class time like 1 hour back. තුනහමාර නැතුව දෙකහමාරට ක්ලාසස් පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් දෙක ඒක අපහසු කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා මොකද මට තව ක්ලාස් එකක් තියෙනවා ඒකට ටයිම් එක arrange adjust කරගන්න ඕනේ is there anyone who's got any problem just can you let me know කාට හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් පොඩ්ඩක් මට කියන්න right no one has a problem නේද හරි මම group වලටත් message එක දානවා right දාලා එහෙමනොත් next week we can meet like 2:30 right hari I'll confirm the time right mataka tiyaganna එහෙමනොත් අපි 2:30 වලට meet වෙමු not the 3:30 right I'll confirm okay so thank you very much
Excuse
people
me, sir.
yes pute
Thank you, sir.
Sir, how can I get the recording?
yes that's what I'm going to hold on someone has classes until 3 agra okay so agra is it like if you got until 3 it will be harder for you to connect like almost 3 o'clock neither then it's going to be a problem right agra ඔයාට ඒක class එක adjust කරගන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නෑ නේද පුතේ like 2 වලට ඉවර වෙන විදියට හරි alternative class එකක් හරි එහෙම පුළුවන් කමක් තියනවද right agra can you try a little yes it's a group class then it's going to be a problem ඔයාට වෙන is it a class from a IME agra IME එකේම class එකක්ද right okay අග්‍රට වෙන alternative time class එකකුත් ඒකෙන් නැති වෙයි නේද ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලට වෙන time එකකට connect වෙන්න හරි එහෙම පුළුවන් කමක් තියෙනවද තියෙනව නම් විතරක් මට පොඩ්ඩක් inform කරන්නකෝ නැත්නම් අපි කමක් නෑ I'll try my best to handle අග්‍රට 3ටම පටන් ගත්තොත් ඒක hassle එකක්ද like 3 to 4:30 හරියන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් මට half an hour benefit එකක් හරි ගන්නද is it harder for you to concentrate if you feel it's harder 3 is okay right okay right I'll put the message agra මට 3 උනත් වටිනවා පැය භාගයක් හරි adjust කරගන්න පුළුවන් නා right yeah I'll confirm right okay so people I will confirm when will be the class like I will put the question to the group as well whether we can start it at 3 o'clock whether it is okay or not right so agra ඔයාට පුළුවන් කමක් තියනවද කියලා මට පොඩ්ඩක් confirm කරන්න පුතේ 2:30 වලට adjust කරගන්න එහෙම කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් ලොකු උදව්වක් මට right if you can't do it or if they cannot make any changes no problem don't worry right පුළුවන් නම් විතරක් try කරලා බලන්න right okay so yeah thank you agra thank you very much newcomers this is the way you are going to watch the recordings so the place that you need to visit it's a website which is called starlabs.lk right
So can we leave?
yes others yes you can leave don't no worries have a nice weekend
Thank you,
people
sir. Bye,
right
sir.
okay
Good
okay
night.
have a good night right so it's starlabs.lk right when you visit to that website this is maintained by me right Onetra thank you so in the website Dua and Puta you can find the menu called lesson recording right so under the lesson recording there are many types of recordings you have to choose Starlabs recording right so once you choose Starlabs recording there will be players, like 1 player per class, right? So the grade 10 sessions are at the bottom of this page. Yeah, this is the grade 10 sessions. I'm sorry, it's a grade 11 sessions that you need. Yeah, these are the grade 11 sessions, right? So I will upload today's lesson to this player by tomorrow. So the previous lessons, you can see the previous lesson using this hamburger icon. මේ මෙතන කෙලවරේ තියෙන icon එකක් තියෙන්නේ. එයාව click කරාම playlist එක එනවා. So you can access all the recordings that we have done. So grade 11 පටන් ගත්තේ මෙන්න මෙතන මේ මම grade 11 කියලා name කරලා තියෙන සමහර විට ඊට කලින් වීඩියෝ එකක් චුට්ටක් බලන්න එක මැද්දේ grade 11 brief කරලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Like 8 කියලා tag වෙලා තියෙන තැන. So then that one onwards, grade 11 stuff are there. And for last 4 weeks, we were discussing the paper. ඒක නිසා last 4 weeks වැඩි involved වෙන්න යන්න එපා. හැබැයි last 4 weeks means like the 25th එක ඕනේ ඒක paper එක discuss කරන තැන. And 10th of first again අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. ඒ discussion දෙක තමයි දාලා තියෙන්නේ පුතේ. අනිත් සති දෙකේ අපි paper එක class එකේදී කරපු එක කරේ. Right, so from this 27th of December එතන ඉඳලා පුළුවන් පහලට refer කරන්න. තේරුණාද?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. How about you, Isara?
තේරුණා
Clear, right, good. හරි. ඔය විදිහට බලන්න පුතේ ඒ වගේ පැය එකමාරම ඔයගලන්ට බලන්න නැහැ. නමුත් අර මම ඩිස්කස් කරන තැන් ටික පොඩ්ඩක් ටච් කරලා මොනවාද questions කරලා තියෙන කියලා බලලා questions ටික ඔයගලන්ට එතනින්ම ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන්. right, බලලා ඒ ටික ලියාගෙන ලෑස්ති වෙලා ඉන්න. right? Right, okay. So I'll end the
Thank
session.
you, sir.
Right, okay. Thank you very much.
thank you sir
Right, okay, Isara. Thank you.